Saints fans. I am Todd Graffinini. This is John DeShazer. It is day 3 of New Orleans Saints training camp here at the Ochsner Sports Performance Center. It is always presented by SeatGeek and JD. Today, the quarterbacks were featured post-practice. We have seen 3 practices now. Both have done very good things when we're talking about Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. We're going to hear exclusively from them in just a little bit, but we really have a competition on our hands because, as again we've seen, both have done a lot of good.
Yeah, we're getting into the meat of it now because we saw Jameis Winston take reps with the #1 unit. We've seen Taysom Hill do that the first 2 practices. Coach Sean Payton said that the reps would be split that way, that those guys would rotate because you need to get some reps, you need to get some throws in with both units to kind of see how things feel from a starting and a backup standpoint. So good to see both guys out there. Both guys, I think, for the most part, overall, have been really sharp these first 3 days. Hadn't had a lot of adversity yet. We saw a couple of errant throws from Jameis Winston today. First time we've seen him here in training camp. But for the most part, I think both of those guys have been really sharp.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I thought both were very candid in their media availability after practice. When you listen to Taysom talk about how his workout routine is a bit different now and how Jameis, I thought this was very candid. He's already gotten more reps in the first 3 practices here during training camp than he had all of last year. That's very telling.
Yeah, because basically he was the 3rd guy last year. You had Drew Brees, you had Taysom Hill. He was the guy who was coming in on short notice basically because you didn't really have an off season trying to ramp up everything for training camp. And if you're the Saints coaching staff, you've got to go with the guys who understand what's going on already more so than the new guy. You just don't have the time. And that's what last off season really meant for Jameis Winston. It hindered him tremendously to not have the OTAs, to not have the mini camps, to not have the quarterback schools or whatever you want to call them. Those throws, that cohesiveness, that chemistry, he missed all of that. So he just jumped in on the ground running in training camp. So yeah, he's gotten a lot of work here in training camp that he didn't get last year.
Yeah, and Taysom Hill obviously has been in the system for a few years now. Not as a quarterback per se, he's been more of a jack of all trades. He is playing quarterback now. He had his best throw of camp in the first 3 days. That back shoulder to Marquez Callaway was outstanding.
Well, let me tell you something, folks. When you see Taysom Hill, you'll notice how much less of him there is. Yep. Taysom Hill has streamlined his body. He isn't the 240, 235 guy that we're accustomed to seeing. He looks like a quarterback. He's leaned himself up, and he looks like a quarterback. As you mentioned, that throw to Marquez Callaway against good coverage from Paulson Adebo. A great throw, back shoulder throw, and that's the kind of throw that NFL quarterbacks make nowadays.
All right, a lot of sound post-practice. Let's get to head coach Sean Payton talking about the quarterback battle.
Both had some really good days. They both had some really good throws. And so, look, they put a ton of time in, both of them, and it's been fantastic working together. So, it'll kind of take care of itself, I think.
Well, Taysom Hill was first up at the podium post-practice. Here are his thoughts on the first 3 days of camp.
And I think just having another year in the offseason just to play quarterback, my comfort level in the offense, throwing things in rhythm, has felt really good. This was day 3, so by no means do I feel like I'm ready to roll right now. But we had 3 really solid days of work, and I think the offseason has been good for me.
Up next, the always loquacious Jameis Winston. Some interesting comments as well. Here they are.
I'm getting better every single day. But one thing that helps, I'm telling you, when you're able to watch greatness run it, you build a mentality that you just, like, I can go and watch clips of him do it, right? So I'm just trying to replicate what he does. When I'm playing, when I'm sitting there watching film, things that I may be more, things that I may like more than him. But in terms of the offense, I feel like I'm grasping it well, and I'm executing pretty good. The thing is about this team, right? As quarterbacks, we have to put the team in front of all of us. We all have our individual goals, right? We all have our individual accomplishment that we want to accomplish on the field, but collectively, we want to be able to make the team go. And I think we're together, and I think we're all doing that.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. When we return to the New Orleans Saints training camp report right here on CST, it'll be John DeShazer's exclusive interview with defensive lineman Carl Granderson. Thanks so much for watching the show. Here's the New Orleans Saints training camp report presented by SeatGeek right here on CST.
Joined now by Saints defensive lineman Carl Granderson, entering his third year and ready to make an impact on this team. What are some of the things you've learned about the NFL so far?
I learned a lot of things. Like it's a process, it's a business. So you got to come to work every day and be ready to perform at the highest possibility that you can. And you got to bring it every day. So going into my third year, that's what I'm doing. I'm working. I'm doing what the coaches asked me to do, and I'm getting after it.
How have you learned differently to prepare now? Because, it's been a funky situation for you. I mean, last year you didn't get a chance to work a lot with teammates in the offseason because of the COVID-19 situation. This year you've been able to do that a little bit more in terms of getting yourself ready for the NFL. So what's that process been like for you, kind of shaping yourself physically for the NFL?
It's been great. It was a wonderful offseason. We had OTAs, camp. We was able to be there with the guys. And, I just been able to prepare by asking questions, being around my teammates, getting better mentally and seeing what I could do better for the season coming up. One other thing, I got better at watching film. I'm seeing things a little bit different. I'm learning a little better than I was last year. So, as I get older, my game developed more and more. So I'm just continue to strive and improve, and I'm thankful to be able to go full force and COVID not messing anything up and just being around my teammates and coaches.
I think that's one of the underrated things for a defensive lineman when you say you learn how to watch film, because a lot of people think, you just put a defensive lineman on the field, wind him up, tell him to go get the quarterback. So who has helped you in terms of learning how to study film and the things to look for?
Really, it's all on you. What helped me, the coaches, they use terminology. And rookie year, it was a little different. I didn't see things. Going into year two, I was still, getting caught up with the process and how the game worked and angles and stuff like that. So year three, I'm seeing a little things better on the film, with the key on the offensive lineman, just what to watch for. And, I could just talk to the coach on any help that I need. So, going into year three, like I said, you just get smarter. So you see things and the game just gets slower.
Now, limited time last year, you had 6.5 sacks. So that's a lot of production in a small amount of time. Are you ready to consistently step in? Because we know the Saints have some absences on that line. Trey Hendrickson signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. We know that David Onyemata is going to be out for a while. So is this an opportunity for Carl Granderson to step in there and be that consistent force that he wants to be?
First off, I want to say I'm very thankful for my opportunities last year. Whether it's special teams or going in and, filling the role. So I just do my job, and, any opportunity I get, I just take advantage of it. So going into this year, it's all God's plan. So I'm looking forward to get the same opportunities or more and take advantage of my opportunities because they're going to be there. So I'm just ready to step up and play my role and do my job.
What do you feel like are the strengths of your game, and what do you feel like the things are that you need to improve on?
The strength for me is my motor. I can go full speed, play 100 miles per hour.
You guys had some pretty big losses on that defensive line. We mentioned Trey Hendrickson, but didn't mention Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown. How deep is that line now? Because you guys lost some guys, but I know there were some young guys who are ready to step in, including yourself.
It's very important. We had some important guys, Sheldon Rankins, Trey Hendrickson, Malcolm Brown last year, who did good for us. So moving forward to this year, we also got some really good guys. We got some young cats, Jalen. We got a few guys that's just learning as camp get better and better. They're learning and seeing how things work and buying into the program. So I'm excited going into this year and to see what our D linemen can do because we're stacked. We got a vet, David Onyemata. He's coaching the guys up. So even though we lost some guys, we still got guys to improve, and that's going to do good things for us this year.
Now there are times when people aren't really juiced to go into training camp. It's hot, it's humid, you get sweaty. But how excited are you for this training camp going into this season?
I'm very excited going into year 3 for me. Just going with the guys. It's a very exciting process. It's hot and it's humid, but that's life. The weather just throws all types of curveballs at you, but you got to be ready for the fire. So at all times, it's very exciting. to be back on the field, training camp, to be in contact with the guys, and to have fans. You know, the fans been cheering on the sideline. We got fans, we can run around and they could cheer us up, and we could just go have fun.
All right, that's Carl Granderson. I'm John DeShazier, and we will be back in a minute.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So that's going to wrap it up for the first 3 days of training camp. Off day tomorrow, JD. That is going to be big for these players. Then back at it on Monday inside the Ochsner Sports Performance facility. And then big day on Tuesday, the first padded practice of training camp.
Yeah, they've had a couple of days outside in the heat. Heat beat them down a little bit. You could see a bit of sluggishness. Get their legs back under them on the off day. They get back inside on Monday fresh. And then Tuesday's the one everyone's looking forward to, obviously, because, you know, the offensive and defensive linemen, this is where they really start to separate themselves and shine. They want those pads on because that's the closest replication they will get to an NFL game. So they're anxious to get the pads on.
And as always, we will be there to bring it to you. Have a great day on Sunday. We'll be back at it on Monday. Inside, Todd Graffinini, John DeShazier. This has been the New Orleans Saints Training Camp Report on CST, presented by SeatGeek.